All right, Shalom. This is Brother Gabar, the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And first and foremost, before I hop into this spiritual hydration, I just want to give all praises to the Most High in their true Paleo Hebrew names and in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. All right, so with that, I want to say Kal Halayim, Le Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Shema, double honors to the apostle and elders of GMS. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan Banyasharala. And shalom to you brothers and sisters pushing and keeping this truth and faith and the sincerity into the end, man. All right. So the spiritual hydrations come out of the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 16. Now I hop right into it. It says, "For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel." All right, so it says, "For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of," man. Right? Because hey, we didn't do anything, to receive this knowledge and wisdom and understanding, man. We didn't do anything to receive this gospel. It was the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua who chose us and saw fit for us to do this work, man. You know, and everything we do within this truth is ultimately to glorify the Father which is in heaven, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We don't do anything. We don't teach this truth. We don't teach this gospel to gain any glory, to ourselves, man. Like, hey, yeah, I just dropped 20 lessons, man. Yeah, I woke that brother up. I woke that sister up. I did this. I did, man. Nah. Yeah, everything we do in this truth is to glorify the Father, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. Hey, because we was once in the world, man. We was once spiritually dead. Out here doing every single thing that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua despises. So just being presented with this opportunity, man, of grace, of mercy, this opportunity of duty and purpose, man, to teach the Lord's word, to relay the Lord's testimony, to preach this gospel. It's something to just be grateful and thankful for, man. And again, everything we do in this truth is to glorify and honor the Father, man, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So it says, "For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me," man. Right? It says, "For necessity is laid upon me," man. So, man, any sincere brother and sister or any believer in this truth, man, necessity is laid upon us, man. And doing this work and doing this duty and keeping this faith and keeping our confidence, towards the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And I just wanted to get the definition of necessity. It says, it says, the fact of being required or indispensable. All right. So doing this work, preaching this gospel is exactly what's required of you from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And it's a part of your duty. It's a part of your purpose. It's a part of your calling, being in this truth, man. It's required of you from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to preach this gospel, man. To do the work, to keep the faith, keep your confidence. Doing your weekly lessons, your weekly videos, man. Studying, watching videos and lessons. Filling your cup. And also, preaching, teaching, prophesying, man, warning the people. This is something that's required of you, man. Just like a job, you go shine into a job, they give you a description of what your job entails, what's going to be required of you if you get hired, man. It's like the Lord hired us to, to do his work, to preach this gospel. And when he hired us, he laid down a foundation and a criteria of what would be required of us, man, for joining unto this truth, man. You know what I'm saying? For taking up that torch of preaching this gospel, man. And the one thing that's required of us is to teach, man. It's to teach the gospel, it's to preach, it's to give the Lord's testimony, man. And in order to sincerely do that, man, you gotta read, you gotta study. You know what I'm saying? You gotta fill your cup up before you can pour out into others, man. So bottom line, doing this work is a necessity, man. It's something that's required of us. It's something that's required of it. And you don't want to fall short of your requirements when it comes to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Because going back to that analogy, man, just like on a job, you fall short in your requirements, your duties on the job, you get fired. You get penalized. All right. And that's something that you don't want to receive from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for not doing his work, for not doing his will, man. You You want to obtain the Lord's mercy and his grace, not his judgments and his anger. All right, and it says, and I also wanted to get indispensable, man. The definition of indispensable is literally absolutely necessary. Clear case in point, man. This doing this work, preaching this gospel, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you are a man in this truth, man. Sincerely striving for the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, it is a necessity. This is something that's required of you, right? And is indispensable, is absolutely necessary. Man, so the Lord woke you up to this truth, man. It's, specifically being a man of the Lord, he woke you up to this truth and gave you this duty and this purpose, of teaching and preaching the Lord's gospel, man. It's something that's required of you, and it's also something that's absolutely necessary for you to do, man. For the hopeful elect, to mark for marking those unto life, and also marking those unto death, but also is absolutely necessary for your own salvation, man. Because the scriptures say, let every man work out his own salvation with fear and trembling, roughly paraphrasing, man. So you're trying to obtain your own salvation, man, by doing this gospel, by doing this work. Not only that, but also waking up, other people, man. And if they're not waking up, man, you mark them for death with this truth. You marking them for life, or you marking them for death, man. And these things are absolutely necessary, man, in this truth, man, and in this work. Showing who is for the Lord and who isn't. And it says, for though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yeah, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel, man. Right? And it says, yeah, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel, man. Woe is judgment. You get what I'm saying? It says, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel, man. And one of the main woes, judgments, man, for not preaching this gospel, not being in the spirit, not doing those things that's required of you and absolutely necessary of you, man, is the Lord, man, will take his spirit from you. He'll take this truth from you and put you back in the world, worse off than you were before you came into the truth. And that's a truly terrifying thing, man. The scripture tell you that, roughly paraphrasing, man. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. Because once the Lord remove his covering from you, he removes his grace and his mercy from you, man. It ain't nothing stopping his judgments from overtaking you, from pursuing you, from affecting you, man. And that's truly terrifying, man. Knowing that you had this truth, you had this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding, and because of your slackness, your being uncommitted, undriven, man, the Lord took that from you, man, and now you just back in the world. When you had a token of life, man, you had a gift, you had a treasure straight from the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man. But because of how you treated it, he took it from you. And man, the scriptures tell you, man, roughly paraphrasing, that those who knew this truth and did it not shall be beaten with many stripes, man. So somebody who knew this truth, they knew their duty, they knew what was required of them, and they did not do it, man, they're gonna be judged harshly by the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man. And again, that's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. Because we do this work to glorify our Father, man. We do this work to make our calling to election sure, man, to solidify our own salvation. We do this work to wake up the hopeful elect, man. We do this work to mark those for death, man, those that don't believe, those that mock and scoff and come against the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. We do these things to warn the people. Man, if we not going to warn the people, who is? I mean, you got people out here, and they drop information and things that's going on in the world, and it be accurate, but it's not according to the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, man. So who's going to truly warn the people, man? Who is going to truly prepare them, through the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, of what's to come? Like, all hell is about to break loose in this place, America, and as you can clearly see, 2/3 of our people, they're not ready for it. They have no idea what's going on, what's coming down the pipeline. So again, if we don't warn them, who is, man? If we don't give them the Lord's name, man, how should they call on it and to be saved, man? You know what I'm saying? How should they have faith and believe on his name if they never hear it? So we have duty, we have purpose, man. We have things that's required of us, things that are absolutely necessary, that the Lord requires from us, man. These things that Yahweh Shem Yahushua deems absolutely necessary, man. Doing the work, teaching his gospel, man. Preaching, prophesying, warning the people, keeping the faith, keeping your confidence in this truth, man. These are all things that are required and absolutely necessary, man. And comment, that's just something to truly remember and hold on to, man. That, man, necessity is laid upon us, man. The Lord laid requirements, responsibility. Man, this is what he laid upon us, man, when he gave us this truth, when he gave us this gospel. So, man, handle your responsibilities, man. Do those things that's required of you. Man, keep your mind and your spirit on those things that are absolutely necessary. Those things that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua deems absolutely necessary, man. Get the Lord's testimony, man, in truth and in sincerity, man, and in diligence. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.